ASMR community talking about it. So I like Love Island, and I figure some of you probably watched the Queer Ultimatum, so let's talk about it. Overall, I really liked last season. I liked the cast. This season, I would say for the most part, I liked the cast, and I think everyone is pretty cool. But yeah, so I figured I would break this video down into two parts. The first part, I'm going to talk about them coupling up with other people in the show. In the second part, I'm going to tell you what my predictions are and whether or not I think that the original couples will get engaged, or if I think they should get engaged. I feel like it's really hard to say on the Ultimatum if I think they should get engaged, because I'm one of those people that's like, if you have to give your partner an ultimatum to get engaged, it's probably not gonna work out. Like, you want someone to be like enthusiastically proposing to you, or like enthusiastically wanting to marry you, and not being hesitant to move forward and, you know, have a future with you. You want someone who's like actually invested as much as you are. And I feel like it's always a bad sign when you have to like drag someone to the altar with you, you know. Thankfully, I am with someone, and I feel as though we both recognize what we have in the relationship, and we're really happy and just want to be with each other forever. So in some ways I can't really relate to the people on Ultimatum, but I can see like little pieces of everyone's lives that I feel like I can relate to as a queer person. Okay, so the first coupling, I feel like I'm talking like Love Island, but the first like new couple that I want to talk about is Bridget and Ashley. I feel like they're pretty wholesome. It's definitely like friendship vibes, and I think that Bridget really helped Ashley work through like why she feels like she doesn't want to be romantic in a relationship because of the trauma that she's been through in the past. And like I was literally just saying, I feel like Ashley is a queer person that I would normally not be able to relate to or not feel represented by seeing her. But her talking about her situation with DV, I can easily, like, that resonates with me. And when she was talking about like how she struggles to, you know, do these big romantic gestures, I definitely understand where she's coming from with that, and I have experienced that in my own life. So yeah, I think that coupling was really beneficial for Ashley because Bridget was, you know, having her open up and talk more about that. In terms of for Bridget, I'm not sure if that coupling was very beneficial for her. She seemed like, I don't know, like I guess she was happy, but not that happy because it wasn't originally what she planned. But yeah, like I said, I think it's just wholesome, and it seemed like they were like, towards the end, they were kind of getting somewhere, you know, by doing that little date that they did with the pottery, because Bridget is clearly someone who's very creative. I like ran to follow Bridget on social media because I just think that Bridget is so cool, and her hair is amazing, and just her style and everything's really cool, and I'm creative too, so I really like Bridget. I think she might be one of my favorite people on the season. Next, I want to talk about Marita and Brittany. I think it's Brittany is her name. I hope it's Brittany. They definitely didn't really want to couple up with each other because Brittany wanted Mel and Marita wanted AJ, who Brittany and AJ came together, so that's kind of awkward. But I definitely feel like Marita and Brittany are wholesome, and I think Marita low-key likes Brittany because she said like how she was sitting there and Brittany was doing her lip liner and she was like, oh, this is kind of hot. And then Brittany made Marita oxtail. That part cracked me up because she was like, was still working while she was doing the show. I think that Brittany kind of realized, like, that she likes taking care of her partner through, like, acts of service, and I think that's kind of what AJ misses about their relationship. But I think that Brittany just kind of, like, realized, that she enjoys that. She likes taking care of her partner. And Marita, I'm not sure she really learned much from the experience, if I'm being honest. We'll have to see in the next episodes, but I feel like I can't tell if Marita is genuinely, like, learning anything from her situation with Brittany. Okay, next I'm talking about Kyle and Pilar. Pilar, I think is how you say her name. Sorry about that. The situation in the beginning when they went dancing and ended up making out, I felt a little weird about it, personally, because Kyle had said that she originally said no, and then they ended up making out. Personally, to me, it kind of seemed like Pilar, like, pressured Kyle into making out. I mean, this happens a lot in today's day and age. That doesn't really make it okay, I guess. Like, you don't want to pressure your partner. You want them to give enthusiastic consent. You want them to, like, want to make out with you and not, like, be like, no, I don't want to make out. Like, when someone says no, you need to take it seriously. So when Kyle was saying that, and it seemed like Kyle was kind of blaming herself, like, I should have said no. Honestly, I didn't really understand why Pilar picked Kyle instead of Bridget. That, first of all, that is such an awkward situation to be into, both of them. Well, I guess it's not awkward, because, like, you could have, like, a throuple, but, like, in this situation, I think it is awkward. But I didn't really understand why Pilar didn't pick Bridget. I thought that they would be better together, personally. But yeah, I definitely think the situation with them making out was weird, and it kind of put, like, a damper, I guess you would say, on their trial marriage. Next, I want to talk about AJ and Marie. And again, didn't really understand why AJ picked Marie, but I could definitely see that they kind of had, like, flirty vibes, like, when they were talking back and forth. And I think that AJ was right that Marie brought out, like, a more emotional side of her, and it helped her open up, I guess. Throughout their trial marriage, I do wonder what was learned for each of them, because I just feel like Marie was so wrapped up in the fact that Mel didn't say hi to her at the pool, which is messed up. I think she could have just been like, or like, hi, you know, but she just didn't. She completely ignored her at the pool, and so it made Marie spiral. And then AJ is meeting up with her ex and not telling Marie until, like, after the second time it happened, and Marie is just like, I don't think AJ's being truthful. Marie is just like, AJ's lying. Like, she can't trust AJ anymore. She doesn't know what the heck is going on with Mel. Like, imagine to go from, like, being with someone all the time to, and, like, they have a food truck together, so, like, they're together 24/7. So they go from that to, like, you see her at the pool and she just doesn't speak to you at all. I would be spiraling too. But I definitely think that AJ and Marie give, like, good friend vibes, and I think that they do bring out good things in each other. Next, I want to talk about Haley and Megan. I love them together, honestly. I think they're both level-headed, honest about, like, what happened during their trial marriage, and they're not hiding anything. I think it's really unfair that Dana said that Haley is, like, manipulating Megan, or, like, she got into Megan's head. Not really. I don't agree with that. Yeah, I don't really understand that take. this could go too far and I could not want to be with you. And Dana was like, no, I think we should try it. And like, that was suspicious to me. Because I feel like if I was in this situation, I was Dana, and Megan came to me and said that, I would say, we have two options. You either give me what I'm looking for and we get married, we don't have to do this, or we can break up and we don't have to do this. Like, we don't have to go through this situation if you don't want to be with me, or you do want to be with me, and we don't need to like try to figure it out, you know? That's what I would say. But no, Dana said we should just give ourselves over to the process and try and see what happens. I feel like Dana just wanted to make Megan jealous because she knew that her and Megan had talked about getting matching tattoos, and she went and got matching tattoos with Mel. I don't know how the hell their Spotify ended up on Megan and Haley's thing. Maybe it was on purpose. Maybe to make Megan jealous. I feel like Dana, her whole thing was like making Megan realize what she's missing, or that like, look, someone else wants me and I could go do all this stuff with Mel, you know? That was my feeling, that Dana was kind of just like, oh look, like I could just go do this with someone else. Like, I don't have to do it with you, but I'm choosing you. And I don't know if that's toxic or not. I know that I don't like it. And I didn't like Dana and Mel's relationship. I do wonder what they learned from each other. Like, in watching their conversations, I just wonder what they learned from each other. I do know that Mel opened up to Dana about like her chronic illness and like how she can't have kids. So like, she's just like, oh well, I don't want to have them, you know? Anyway, so, and in one of the chats with Dana, with Dana and Mel, when Mel was like, I want to know like how we're gonna move forward, like I want to know that like if I abandon things with Marie, that you'll be there. What the fuck? I was like, no. And let me tell you something. Maybe I'm biased. Mel is my ex to a T. Like 100%. We dated for like 2 years. And she had the comb over thing. Like her hair was like gone from ear to ear. She always wore hats, especially backward hats. And she's brown, like Mel. So like, as soon as Mel came on the show, I was like, and then the way that she was acting with Dana, 100% my ex to a T. So maybe I am biased a little bit in that I don't really like Mel and I don't really like Dana. So maybe it's my own personal bias. It's because she reminds me of my ex. But yeah, I just felt like Mel doesn't actually want to be with Marie, and that's probably why she doesn't want to marry Marie, because I feel like she doesn't, like, she genuinely had feelings for Dana and like wanted to leave Marie for Dana. That's what I got out of the trial marriage. And honestly, for Mel to sit in the car with Marie and say, no, we just kissed, we didn't have sex, that's a both-faced lie. Maybe they didn't do the whole sex thing and it was just like foreplay, but like, Dana was moaning for an extremely long time in the room. What were you doing? You weren't having sex. What the hell? Like, I feel like I'm being gaslit as the viewer. Like, you're telling me that you weren't having sex. That's a lie. That is a lie. Something was going on in that room. They even had the sex playlist thing with Spotify. That's, oh my god, that is so gay, but like, that is so messed up. I'm sorry. Like, I don't know what to say about Dana and Mel. I just feel like physical thing, and I don't think that either of them really learned anything in order to like go back to their original partner and see things through. Okay. So now is the part of the video where I'm going to talk about the original couples, predict whether or not they're going to get engaged, and give my input about whether or not they should get engaged. Okay, so the first one is Marita and Ashley. I think that they will get engaged. I think that Marita will learn to like compromise, I guess. Like, it seems like Marita wants like big romantic gestures, but I also think that she needs to understand that Ashley needs to take like baby steps, you know? So should they get engaged and get married? Maybe. I think that they definitely need to compromise in order for things to work. I think that even though Ashley feels like she has a hard time doing like the romantic gestures, she needs to also compromise and like try a little bit, because when you love someone, you want to show them that you love them, and like maybe that's not your love language, like the romantic gestures, but it's your partner's love language, so you want them to understand that they love you, you know? And if you're not willing to put in a little bit of work when it comes to that, they shouldn't be together. So like, I do feel like in relationships, you guys don't necessarily have to have the same love languages, but you have to be willing to accommodate your partner's needs as well as your own. You feel me? So I feel like if they can compromise on that, they can get engaged. Next is Brittany and AJ. My prediction is that they will get engaged. Should they? Yeah, I think so. I don't really understand AJ's hesitation. I guess she just feels like the timeline is maybe too soon. But I do think that there can be compromise again on that note. You know, like they can wait maybe a little bit longer, but still you want to show Brittany that you care and everything. I think that they could definitely work. With Kyle and Bridget, my prediction is that yes, they will get engaged. And should they? Yeah. I don't really understand Bridget's hesitations either. I've seen this in the queer community a lot, where like we just kind of see marriage as like, you know, like I'm already committed to you. I only want to be with you for the rest of my life. Why do we need a piece of paper? You know, I completely understand Bridget's mindset when it comes to that, especially because sometimes when you think of like throughout queer history, why do we need like white man paperwork? Like, I hope you guys know what meme I'm talking about. You don't think I'm being like racist, but like, why do we need white man paperwork? Why do we need these street people's paperwork to tell us that our commitment to each other and our connection to each other is valid, you know? But unfortunately, we do live in a country where marriage is more than a piece of paper. You know, it's who gets our things when we die, who has the say in whether or not I end up on a ventilator or etc. And yeah, there are ways to just do that without getting married, but by getting married, you're taking care of a lot of that, you know? So yeah, in a way, I do think like, why do you need a marriage? But I do feel like in order to like solidify it in the legal sense, marriages do make a lot of sense. And yeah, it kind of just makes things easier for you in terms of legality, health insurance, buying a house, etc. Haley and Pilar, I don't think that they will get engaged, and my feeling is that they should not get engaged. I feel that maybe Haley feels that she explored, they've been together for 10 years, and I understand and empathize with Pilar's situation with like her family, but there definitely comes a time where you kind of gotta branch away and just like be yourself, allow yourself to like feel real love and like know that you deserve real love. And just because your parents don't understand, you just gotta do it for you, you know? Since Haley and Megan had a physical she feels that she's in love with Megan. Pilar is like, she said, like, I always was afraid that as soon as I'm ready, you would fall in love with someone else. And so I think that Pilar is ready to ask Haley to marry her, or to marry Haley. But I think that she is just like very upset about what happened. And so I just feel like they probably won't get engaged. They might. But should they? I don't think so. I think that deep down, they both want to explore other connections. And like I said, maybe Haley feels like she did explore connections by being with Megan. But I think that maybe what's keeping them together is that they've been together for 10 years and this is what's comfortable for them. And they don't want to break apart from each other because they love each other and they've been together for so long. That's all they know, you know. That's kind of how I see the situation. And I think that they shouldn't be together, but if they do end up being together, then I also understand that, you know. I feel like it's a situation that it might be able to go either way as long as they can both come to an understanding. Next is Dana and Megan. Do I think that they're gonna get engaged? Yes. And that is only because of what I saw in the previews for the next 3 episodes. Should they? No. I think they should run in opposite directions. Honestly, like I said, I feel like Dana was just making Megan jealous, and I think that Megan might low-key want out, but she doesn't know how. I don't know, that's my thing. But in the previews, like the way that the previews looked, it looked like Megan like just wanted to like not be in love with Haley and like fix things with Dana, especially because right at the end she was like, I think we can work things out. Can you? I don't even think Dana is being honest about what she did with Mel, so can you really work things out? I don't know. But yeah, I just don't think that they should get married. Personally, I don't think they're right for each other. And yeah, the last couple is Marie and Mel. My prediction is that they will get engaged, but should they? No, absolutely not. And I think Marie should run for the hills. Again, like I said, I might be biased because I think that Mel reminds me of my ex, but I also feel like Mel's not being honest about being with Dana. I think they had sex and she doesn't want to tell Marie, and I think that her and Dana said like, we can never tell anybody. And so I think that Mel is being dishonest. I think that Mel doesn't actually want to be with Marie. Honestly, I feel that Mel feels like she has to be with Marie because they both work for the food truck together, and that was Mel's dream. She really wanted a food truck. She got one with Marie, and she feels like she can't break up with Marie because Marie brought her dream to fruition and continues to help her with her food truck. You know, I think that they're not meant to be together, and I think they're just in the situation, in the relationship, for convenience. I think that Marie has genuine love for Mel, but Mel doesn't feel that way about Marie. So, this video ended up a little longer than I had intended, but I love talking about queer shows. I watched I Kissed a Girl, like, I think it's in the UK. That was so good. If they do another season, I'll try to make a video. But it sounds like they're not making another season, so I'll have to see. I really loved I Kissed a Girl, though. I wish they did like Love Island, but for queer people. Me and my fiance talked about like how would it look if they did a queer Love Island. I don't know how the challenges would go. I don't know how the there was one non-binary person last, or two, I think, last season. In this season, there weren't any. It just doesn't make sense to me that it's queer love. Why don't we just call it the lesbian ultimatum? Maybe they don't want to do that because they don't want to, like, say that everyone is lesbian, but they're mostly in women loving women relationships. So, is it really queer? I don't know. I also, like, when they said they were coming out with a season 2, I was like, oh, it's gonna be men this time. It's gonna be gay men this time. And it wasn't, and I was like, that's all I'm gonna say about that. And like I said in my Love Island video, after the rest of the episodes come out, I will do another video if you'd like. But if you're not interested in hearing about the queer ultimatum, then I won't. But I definitely will probably be watching the rest of the queer ultimatum, like, as soon as it comes out, which I think is next week. Thank you so much for watching. Like I said, if you have any reality TV you want me to talk about, I'm down. I'm not into, like, Real Housewives, but that's, like, the only franchise that I'm not interested in. I mostly like Love Island, Queer Ultimatum. I don't mind Big Brother, not a big fan, but am I watching it? Anything else that I like? I can't think of anything else. I like The Ultimatum. I like Love is Blind. I do like watching it, but sometimes I feel like I just need to be in the mood for Love is Blind, you know? Sometimes I don't like the people on Love is Blind because they just come there to get married, and I want them to, like, really make deep connections, and they don't. But yeah, I'd love to do more reality TV, Ramble videos. I love doing them. But yeah, I definitely will be posting a Sims video as soon as I figure out what the challenge is that I want to do in this video. But if you have any ideas, feel free to drop them in the comments below. But that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and make sure you leave a comment below letting me know what you guys think. Do you agree with my predictions? And do you think that some people should get married or no? That's what I want to know in the comments below. So let me know if you agree with me or if you have any different ideas about what I said. But thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great